Sponsored by Centavos. Keep more of your money.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ask Sloan. I'm Sloan. This is Ben.
Yeah, I'm Ben. Nice to see you guys again. It's been a while, and we've been anticipating this talk. How have you been?
Fantastic.
That's awesome, man. I know that you've had quite the week, right?
It's been a doozy.
Well, how's Centavos coming along?
That's the doozy. No, Centavos is coming along great. We hired a new developer. He started last week. Super excited about it. We've got another team working on the payment platform. So 1.0, I'm hoping is done by August 15th, but could be September 1st. You know, you always get a little contingency, but really excited for the full launch. It's in beta. You can go to the App Store right now, download Centavos, and start playing with it and get excited about keeping more of your money.
That's interesting. How does that work? Since you are the CEO, like, who are you accountable to in terms of like those deadlines? Is there anybody that you need to kind of report to, or do you kind of have to report to yourself in that way?
Well, I mean, I have a business partner,
Okay.
right? Jacinia, and you know, we hold each other accountable, you know, but it's more like peer pressure, if you will, not really like accountability, quote unquote. Like, nobody's checking on me, right? I'm driving the car, but having a partner, and you know, having investors and things like that, like, there's motivation, right,
Yeah.
to get things done and make it happen. But it's a team, right? I'm not personally writing the code. So you have to navigate the things that can affect timeline, and figure them out. And sometimes you got to let something go and, you know, put something else together and make it happen.
So how do you like keep that urgency then, if that's the case? Because what's preventing you from, you know, pushing timelines down when things are becoming difficult, other than your own
Cash flow.
cash flow?
I'm not independently wealthy. So, as an example, I have bills right now for Centavos. Centavos is not making any money, right? So I'm either paying for that out of my own pocket, or I'm raising investment capital, which I have to pay back, or I'm losing equity, right? So when you're using other people's money, you have a specific motivation to get things done. When you are negative cash flow, when you're burning, you know, you have a motivation to get things done, because if not, like, it all falls apart, right? Now, if you're independently wealthy, you have no motivation to get it done. Like, it doesn't even matter if it goes or not, right? Just another thing I'm doing. Who cares?
I see. So if that wasn't the thing that was essentially holding you accountable, because you're accountable to your cash flow, to your budget, then where do you think that you would get that incentive from, other than that?
Well, I mean, you know, we've talked a lot about like what's in here, right?
Yeah.
Personal drive, like, who are you? What are you trying to accomplish? That has a lot to do with it. You know, I mean, I'm building this for a very specific reason, right? To help the little guy be able to become a millionaire faster, easier, with more understanding and less friction. I'm also trying to make it a lot more easy and efficient for me to deliver those results, right? So as an example, like, as a chief financial officer, fractional, we have 62 clients, right? So it takes a month for me to get a report to you right now. Well, with Centavos, I'm going to give you that report immediately, like every day. Like, you're going to have your data right now, every day, versus I got to wait.
I see. Since you're running multiple businesses and then also, you know, working on creating Centavos till its full effect, how do you kind of organize your time in that way?
So, I mean, it's really about managing teams, right?
Okay.
So, and each team has objectives, and each objective has an owner, if you will. Okay. So, I allot time to my team. So I have certain companies where, the meetings are scheduled, right? So like today I had a board meeting at 1:00, right?
Okay.
It's every Wednesday, 1:00 board meeting. Okay. Then every Thursday at 11:00, I've got a meeting with the finance department at one of my clients, right? And so those are in stone. Okay. Then if we're working on objectives, I'll schedule meetings with the lead Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it doesn't really like whenever is necessary. Right. Um, and then, right before I came here, I had a meeting with one of our CFO clients, and we're developing some solutions around their accounting system because it's a little bit of a mess. And then I had a signing ceremony for trust, wills, power of attorneys for another client who is just doing their estate planning, making that happen. So it's really about scheduling, time management, and understanding how to stay organized with your activities. Every Monday, I have a Centavos meeting with the developers, and I work with my CTO and the developers. And, I schedule time to review all of these things. It's like I said, it's time management and then keeping track of the objectives and who's responsible for them.
I see. So do you have to kind of keep track of those objectives yourself, or do you have like a team like that you delegate that to as well?
No. I mean, I definitely need to be as the leader, I need to be on top of what everybody's responsible for doing.
Interesting.
For sure. Because if I show up to a meeting and say, okay, so Tom, what were you working on again, Tom? And then he doesn't have any motivation to like get it done. Like, oh, well, I was working on ABC and, we're doing great. Like, it's like, I need to be able to be like, okay, Tom, where are we at with ABC? It was due last Friday.
So you're in the weeds of all these things, and then also have to make like high level decisions, more strategic decisions, and then keep your wits about you during that whole process as well. How do you kind of make sure that you don't fold under all that pressure?
Well, I don't know. I've been doing it for a long time. So the last part, how do you not fold under the pressure? I've been doing it for a long time, right? How do I keep it organized? It's when I'm in the moment, then I'm fully focused on what I'm doing in the moment. So like I'm here right now with you, fully focused on this. When I was in the signature ceremony, I was fully focused on those clients right there, answering their questions, going through their documents, helping them understand what's happening. When I was in the meeting just previous to that, I was 100% involved in their accounting system. I wasn't thinking about the signature documents. I wasn't thinking about this podcast. I was just focused on that. And then if it's something that I need to remember later that I'm worried about, then I'll set a reminder. I'll write it on my whiteboard next to my desk, or I'll send an email to somebody, or I'll do a I'll figure out a way that I have a reminder that helps me remember what I need to be doing.
That's a quite a bit of work. What are some of the sacrifices that you had to come to terms with when, as you continue to take new things on?
I mean, there's only so much time in the day, right? So some of the sacrifices are I get a little bit behind in timelines, right? So I wanted Centavos to be done April 1st. And here we are, right?
Yeah.
So by September 1st. So that's 5 months delay, right?
Yeah.
So that, you can either look at that like, man, that super sucks, or you can just be like that's what happened. Now, in that process of that 5 months, don't think for a second that I didn't try to speed that up, but sometimes slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And if you try to speed something up and you end up breaking it and you end up causing more delay. So think about it like if you're late, right? Is it a good idea to speed? So as long as you don't get caught, right? As long as you don't get pulled over, yeah, you're fine. But the minute you get pulled over, you're a lot later than you would have been if you'd have just driven the speed limit.
Yeah, trust me, I know that firsthand. Like about 2 months ago, I was on my way to Austin, and I was trying to do like 3 things at once, and then I didn't realize I was going about 30 miles over the speed limit. Safe to say my bank account had to suffer the consequences for that.
For sure.
So more personally though, what are some of the more personal sacrifices that you needed to come to terms with, right? When you're trying to chase success to this type of a veracity.
In the beginning, I sacrificed a lot at home, right? And my wife's love language is quality time. Oof. Yeah. So I didn't really have a whole lot of that in the beginning. And it definitely affected our relationship, It was tough. It was tough there for a minute. We had 3 kids like real quick. So like, I I was around every weekend. So I take off every Saturday, okay, observance of the Sabbath. And then, Sundays I work half of the Sundays in the year. So no matter what, I'm home on Saturday, but like I don't get home till 7, 8 o'clock at night. So okay, so to that degree, quality time, like I used to stay up till midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning to give my wife the quality time that she needed, right?
Mm.
Now we're trying to like flip that around to where like I'm home by 7 and we go to bed around 10 and then we wake up and work out together. So
That's awesome.
so like figuring out like how to manage your lifestyle in such a way that it promotes what you're trying to accomplish. And you're going to make changes. Like when the kids were little, like when they were teenagers, like they would come to me at like midnight and still want to like talk. And like, that's when their brain is like, all like affecting everything. And so it's like, I want to give them that because they're about to leave.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to give them that time. So I'd actually had my schedule down where I was going to bed by 10 and everything was good. And then kind of we hit this stage where they needed me later. So then I stayed up later and slept in a little bit. So just making minor adjustments to make sure that you're present and focused on the things that matter. And then making sure that you're prioritizing the things that matter, right? Mr. Wonderful, he's got a whole bunch of little TikTok things or whatever out there right now talking about signal and noise. Okay.
Yeah.
And he talks about Steve Jobs and how Steve Jobs was like 80% signal and 20% noise. Okay. And so what is the noise? The noise is anything that's not helping you accomplish your results. Okay.
Yeah.
Signal is, okay, this is where I need my attention to be on in order to make things happen. Okay. And so there's like, you can only get accomplished. I learned this from Tony Robbins. You can only get 6 things accomplished in a day. You might think that you can get 30, but you can't. You can only really get 6. So you want to prioritize your top 3 things to do today. And those top 3 things have to move the needle. They have to actually make things change. Okay. Whether it's a meeting, whether it's like work, so on and so forth. So, and I still do a lot of client work, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, in my day, I have to organize when am I getting client work done? And when I'm doing client work, I'm not answering the phone, right? When I'm in a meeting, I'm not distracted, right?
Yeah.
So figuring out, and I'm constantly adjusting those priorities because every once in a while, like a wheel falls off and like, we got to stop here and go like mess with this wheel.
So how far ahead do you typically plan?
It's actually crazy, right? I've got buddies that like their calendar, like I call them calendar superheroes. Okay. Like you look at their calendar and it's literally like for the next 9 months, like just built out, and it's like all this little like color coded stuff and whatever. And like, I wish I had those kind of skills, bro. I am stacked this week. Like I'm full to the brim this week. Next week, I got openings. And
for a limited time only.
For a limited. So what happens is like, I'm pretty open next week right now. It's Wednesday. Okay. By Monday, all of next week will be full, but I'll have nothing on the schedule for the week after.
It's so interesting that you're pointing this out because this is actually one of the main things that scared me, like actually struck fear into me when I began my first job in corporate America. I began July 11th, 2022, and I went to sleep and I woke up and it was July 11th, 2023. And I said, wait a minute, where did the time go? And I realized exactly what you're saying. It's like you fill every single day up to the brim where it's almost difficult to remember like that you're living in today, right? Because you're always thinking about tomorrow. And then like your life just passes in front of you.
Well, I'm so glad you're thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
Because if you're thinking about yesterday, that's a major problem. Okay. But it's true, right? We have this moment, and this moment is the moment that we can make change happen. And that change affects tomorrow. So what do I want my tomorrow to be is what I need to be doing today.
Yeah.
Right. And that's that prioritization of the 3 top things that I need to accomplish today. Now, if you got a job, like those top 3 things is like, what does my boss have me doing? Right. And so like those are your top 3 things. It's the company's top 3 things. Okay. And you make that happen. And then, the days are long, but the years fly by, bro.
Yeah. And what I'm trying to extract right now, I guess, is something for my life where I feel like right now I'm trying to figure out how I can properly prioritize the right things because there's a lot on my plate, right? Whether
Okay.
it's, work, which takes up a majority of my time. Then I have my faith, right? And so like you're not justified by your works, but your works are a result of what's in your heart.
Sure.
And so trying to prioritize that, then also trying to prioritize like my involvement in the church, and then also trying to prioritize relationships.
So it's my experience that there are 2 types of people. Okay. Again, there are like calendar superheroes.
Yeah.
Okay. There are people that are slaves to their calendar. I call them calendar superheroes, but really they're slaves to their calendar. Their calendar tells them what they're doing today. So as long as they get it on the calendar, they're going to go from slot to slot to slot to slot. Okay. And so if you want to be a slave to your calendar, that's one way to make sure and hold yourself accountable to making things happen. And then you just need to build that out. I'm not built that way. Okay. There are other people that are like me that are built like more kind of goal oriented. Okay. More like, hey, I'm focused on this result. I'm focused on this accomplishment. Okay. And I'm a little fluid. Okay. Because I might need to make an adjustment to handle that accomplishment. In my world, okay, as an entrepreneur, meetings get canceled all the time. Okay. So I keep all that flexible and I kind of deal with people the way they are. Okay. So if someone is somebody that is more than happy to cancel meetings with me, then I'm also more than happy to cancel meetings with them because they're not going to be offended by that. Okay. That doesn't mean I want to do that or that I'm trying to do that, but I understand that's the situation. If it's somebody that they're never going to cancel a meeting with me, I can guarantee they're going to be there when they say they're going to be there. And it's a good, positive relationship, then I'm never going to cancel a meeting with them. Okay. That's going to be somebody else. If you're not paying me, I'm so sorry. You are on the list of cancellations. Okay. Right. Okay. So it's, you have to figure out who you are. Are you a slave to your calendar type kind of guy? Or are you hey, this is what I want to accomplish. So I'm going to schedule my time around that. So for me, my most important relationship is my wife. Okay.
Yeah.
So she wants me to be home at 7:00. Okay. Well, I tell her ahead of time, hey, I got a podcast that I'm recording from 6 to 7. So it's going to be like 7:40 when I get home tonight. But, she's going to be okay with that because I gave her that heads up. Like that's what's up, right? That expectation.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I'm focused on like after work, like after I get work done, I'm focused on her needs because when she's satisfied, man, I'm happy, bro. She takes so good care of me and I need that. Right.
Yeah.
So happy wife, happy life, that kind of a situation. So for you, you're saying, hey, I got work. I got personal development because I know that you love to work out and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can couch faith in that if like, your church, whatever. So the question is you only got, 14 hours in a day, 12 hours in a day. How are you parsing that time out? Okay. And how important is the work hours? Okay. Is it like, hey, it's 9 to 5, 5:00, we're out, deuces, or like, no, it's 9 to 5, but I got to get this done. So I'm there till 7 tonight. Okay. Kind of a thing. Like, where's your flexibility? And then how much rest do you need? Okay. Like that's what I take off every Saturday, bro. Okay. I totally follow the Sabbath. Why? Because I can go all week as long as I don't do nothing on Saturday. I spend that time with my family, my girls, and then I'm also really not doing anything. Okay. So it helps me to recharge and I don't drink Red Bull, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We talked about the Sabbath at church this last Sunday, actually, and I'm curious because I feel like I've never observed the Sabbath the right way. Because Sunday is usually when when I like was observing the Sabbath, if you will.
Sure.
But I'm meal prepping, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing all these things. What does rest look like to you?
So I'm not like I don't know the right word for it, but I'm not like super hardcore about it. Like in
Mhm.
regards to like, I believe you can like make your bed on the
Yeah,
Sabbath,
I
right?
hear you.
Like I'm going to take a
You're not like
shower.
legalistic about
I'm
it.
not legalistic about it.
Yeah,
Okay. Cause
yeah,
I
I hear
believe
you.
in grace. Right.
Yeah.
But I look at the essence of it. Okay. So I go back to creation. Okay. And it says that the Lord rested on the seventh day. Right.
Mhm.
And from all of his work. Okay. So what did he do? Like he created. Okay.
Yeah.
So then he rested on the seventh day from creating. And what did he do? Like he didn't take a nap, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't think he sleeps. I don't know how it works, but
Yeah.
he hung out with Adam and Eve and the animals and stuff. Like he hung out with his creation. Like he was there and present with them and like enjoyed probably a sunrise and a sunset and I'm sure they ate a couple figs and you know what I mean? Like I don't know, but he didn't do nothing,
Mhm.
but he didn't work. Okay. He
Yeah.
rested from his work. Okay. So then like, okay, we can have like this legalistic understanding of what labor is. Okay. Or what work is. Okay. I call work trying to make money.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, again, like I take a shower, you know what I mean? Like my wife and I go to lunch every Saturday. We have our date Saturday. We go to Lupe Tortillas and get some fajitas, right? Every Saturday.
I love
right?
that.
So I know I grew up in a religious community that most of them believed like going to the restaurant was causing someone else to work. So you were sinning by causing them to work, right? I don't necessarily take that approach. That's between them and God. That's their thing. They're going to be there anyway. So
Mhm.
I'm going to go get some fajitas. I'm good with that, right? I believe that it's okay to volunteer on the Sabbath, right? You move further into Scripture in the Levites. Their major role in life was the Sabbath. They did all their work on the Sabbath, not all of it, but let's call it 70%. They did 70% of their work on the Sabbath. Okay, right? So is it lawful to help someone on the Sabbath, right?
Yeah.
And I don't take the approach of the Sabbath being this sin thing, right? Scripture also says that the Sabbath was made for man,
Not man for the Sabbath.
not man for the Sabbath,
Amen.
right? So the Sabbath is for me to recharge and to enjoy the fruit of my labor, okay, which is spend time with my family, relax, let go of the anxiety and stress of the week, not think about work and centavos and Sloan Podcast and whatever, but instead focus my energy on spending time with my wife and my kids, my parents.
Does
so
that
on and
make
so
you feel
forth.
recharged?
I think so. Like I absolutely think so. I mean, I can't quantify it for you. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
But it like I rest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's
I don't
fair.
even I don't like to go shopping.
Mm,
I don't like to do anything that's going to cause like anxious energy on that day. I need that day to be chill,
I see what you mean.
right? And then for me, ADHD that helps me to focus during the week, right?
Yeah. So I think that, main takeaways for me at least is, figuring out where my heart is and figuring out what I consider work and what I don't consider work. Making sure that during the times that I am working, I'm 100% focused and, making sure that I apply that to all aspects of my life. Is there any, plugins, any, seeds that you want to plant to
I mean, if
the
you're
crowd, if
distracted,
you will?
you need to find out why, right? If you're distracted, if you're having a problem accomplishing a goal, if you're having a problem staying focused on a task, like I said, I was diagnosed ADHD. I don't take any medicine for it or anything. I learned great habits that help me use whatever that is to my advantage so that I can accomplish the things that I'm trying to accomplish. Okay. So whatever is important to you, that's where you're going to, I figured this out a minute ago. Okay. People do what they want to do.
Yeah.
people do what they want to do. Some people will be like, nah, I don't want to do this, but you're doing it. So even though you don't want to do it, there's actually a reason why you're doing it. You don't want the consequence of not doing it. Like there's something there that's still you want to. People do not do what they don't want to do.
That's fair.
So if you find yourself doing something and you kind of really don't want to be doing it, you need to identify why, how, what. Okay. It took me and my wife a long time to flip our days back to getting up at 6:30 in the morning. Okay. But that's what we want in order to improve our life. So we kept at it. Hey, now today we're doing it. We're waking up at 6:30. This is great. Okay. But it used to be 8:30, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can't sit around and work out till 11 a.m. every day. I'm sorry.
Amen. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Self-reflection, intention, and where your heart goes, your energy flows. Thank you, and like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.